Welcome again. I'm Hugh Massey, the CEO and founder of DNA Behaviour. In this session, I'm going to be talking to you about our Business DNA hiring report and how to use it and what it means. The Business DNA hiring report is a direct output of the Business DNA natural behaviour discovery. As you would recall from training sessions and other online coaching sessions that I've done, the hiring report is generated from the natural behaviour factor and sub-factor measurements. All we've done is taken the specific factor and sub-factor measurements and converted it to usable information that is needed in the hiring process, so that you would be better able to match the talents of a person to the role. So taking Helen Jones, and Helen Jones is an engager style, so that's her unique style. That's one of 10 unique styles. What's important here is that for me to reiterate that not all engagers are the same. Each engager can be quite different. Remember, we have 4 trillion combinations of factors and sub-factors, but we only have 10 unique styles. So you can mathematically see that or understand that no 2 engagers are going to be the same. And in fact, they can have quite different makeups when you get underneath. And if you go and have a look at the session that I've done on the 1-page factor report, you will see the full picture when you look at the MRI scan of Helen's factors and sub-factors. So one engager might be a fit for one type of role, maybe a sales role, but often I find engagers are not always that good at sales. They're good at communicating with people and connecting. That doesn't mean that they've got the follow through necessary for sales, but they might be good at public relations or some other area that requires human contact and relationship building or connections. So going down further now, we can look at Helen's specific talents based on her factors and sub-factors. So here is the priority of tasks based on Helen's talents that she would like to do. So for example, communicating verbally, have a high comfort level in meeting people, public speaking, creating and designing, being articulate in communications, handling objections, questioning. So demonstrating enthusiasm, delegating, self-managing. So we know that with engagers, they like to communicate. They're usually outgoing. So you can see this is where the communicating verbally comes from, comfortable meeting people, public speaking. Helen is also creative. So you can see that coming out here. An interesting one is articulate in communications. So Helen is actually quite precise in the way in which she likes to write and to talk. That is coming from a very specific measurement in her factors and sub-factors. She's quite rational, so that's where this comes from. So what we have in the system is 40 tasks overall, and these are the top 10 for Helen. So what kind of role would Helen like? She could be a great relationship manager, and that just comes from the fact that she's good with people. Community networker, so going to conferences, to events, going out meeting people, networking is all easy for her. She could be quite good at recruiting, and anything involves creativity and then training as well. And not only delivering training, but also actually creating the content, particularly for things that are more novel. And then for the desired work environment, it needs to be open. Again, this comes with someone who likes to communicate, having a lot of people interactions, smart appearance, creativity, flexibility. So that's the environment that she wants to work in. So as a leader hiring her, you've got to have an environment where this is going to be a fit. And if it's not, she'll become quite challenged in the workplace in the longer term. And what does Helen want from the workplace? Not everybody goes to work wanting money. And so public contact is important. Ability to make friends, to relate is important. So relational culture will be important for Helen, not just the money. But at the end of the day, everybody needs money to survive in a reasonable amount, and it is one way or one part of feeling valued, but it's not the only part. There are other ways to recognize a person. So with these three areas here, starting off with the priority of roles, environments, and rewards, we have 20 items or areas that get ranked based on Helen's factors and sub-factors, and then it's compiled into this report. So we feel this gives you some more specific information to lining up whether Helen would be a match for a particular role. And then there are some questions that can be used here in the interview process. And as I've explained before, the questions are coming from the strongest two traits. So Helen is outgoing and she's creative. We've got 5 questions here. You can make up the questions any way that you want to do, but I find that asking questions about a person's strengths from their strongest two traits is a good starting point in the interview. So you would bake these questions into your overall interview process. You'll no doubt have other questions that need to be asked, but I think if the interview becomes customized to who the person is, that is better, and you're going to cut to the core. You're going to get them talking, and normally when a person talks about their strengths, their struggles start to get revealed as well, and then you can mine into that. So this is just a good framework to set the interview up from where this person is at, which is their strengths, and move forward from there. You could also use the one-page one-page factor report and look at the factors and sub-factors and ask questions from those areas as well if there's something that is alarming for you. So I hope this provides sort of a useful framework for using the hiring report in the hiring process. And of course, we are very big on matching talent to the role, and looking at where the person fits into the team, and then how they also going to be onboarded into the team and related to is important.